I'm Lin Foulk Baird, and I'm the horn professor here at Western Michigan University. And that was Paul Gilson's etude called Prelude, which may be found in this large collection of etudes and solos for horn. And this particular etude was selected this year in 2019 for the Michigan All-State program. And I wanted to put this video together to help those of you who are auditioning for this program next month. And I'm hoping that these tips and sort of breaking this down for you might help you in your preparation. So the first thing is this is a very technical etude with lots of details, a lot of dynamic contrast, accents, and probably most importantly, it's very technically challenging. And it's particularly challenging at the tempo that is indicated in the instructions for the audition. So the tempo is dotted quarter equals 120. And in order to get your performance up to that tempo, I would recommend playing this slowly in 4-measure sections, repeated many times at a very comfortable tempo, a tempo that you can play it very easily. Spend some time there before you attempt to play the etude too fast. While you're at that slow tempo, capture all of the details that are indicated in the page, such as the dynamics, the articulation markings. There's a large scale passage, a fast scale passage in the 4th line. Practice everything slowly, and it will help you get this into a faster tempo more quickly. The way I like to practice with a metronome and a technique that I like to use to get music faster is to find the easy place, find where it's easy. So let's say you practice this at dotted quarter equals 90. Then increase it by just 10 metronome clicks up to 100. And practice it at that tempo, and it may feel like you're barely hanging on. It's a little bit of a stretch for you to play at 100 or wherever that tempo is for you. Then take it back 5 clicks to 95. So when you're stretching yourself, go up 10 and then back 5. Up 10, play it, see where it feels, and then bring it back 5 metronome marks. And eventually, through that process, you'll get up to 120. I'd encourage you to practice it faster than 120. Then 120 will feel more accessible and easier to manage. So remember that up 10, back 5. The other technique that I wanted to talk about just right from the onset is there is multiple tonguing. 16th notes at this tempo probably need to be multiple tongued, and that's the alternation of T and K syllables. So it's like you're saying, like you're calling the cat, kitty, 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 kitty. So saying TK, 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 or what's even easier is to practice it with an oo syllable with an airstream. Tuku, 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 tuku. And I'd recommend that you practice alternating those syllables away from the horn. So even when you are commuting to school, or when you're watching TV, or when you're working on the computer, you can practice alternating T's and K's and getting it faster. Then practice T's and K's with an airstream, getting that as fast as you can. And then applying it to the horn, start in a mid-register note. So let's start on 2nd line G and play something like this. And you might start at a nice conservative tempo, a place where you can play it very cleanly. You want your double tonguing to sound like single tonguing. You don't want the audience to know whether you're double tonguing or single tonguing. So you might practice single tonguing that exercise, and then double tonguing it. to the sound the same. So practice single tonguing your double tonguing exercises too, and imitate that when you multiple tongue. And then expand the range of that exercise. So also play that exercise on B flat, play that exercise on D, play the exercise on fourth line D in the staff, and work your way out. Set a metronome marking for that tempo. Again, find where the easy place is, write that down, and then the next time you practice, increase that tempo by 10 clicks. Come back 5. That feels good. Increase it another 10. Back 5. Up 10, back 5 in order to get both your multiple tonguing and this etude faster. So I want to break this down for you right from the beginning. So right at the beginning, it's important to play a nice full forte with good accents. And it's important to know, especially for later, that we're in G minor. The key of this etude is in G minor. You hear that right from the beginning. So nice, clear T articulation where the accents are notated. And then we have the multiple tonguing, and we have 2 chromatic scales going on at the same time, descending chromatic scales in the second line, the end of the first line going into the second line. And so I'll play each for you. So practice that on its own. And then the other chromatic scale are the alternate notes. So starting in the same place. So there are 2 different chromatic scales going at the same time. Put together. Be sure you're hearing those 2 lines as you practice. In the second line, middle of the second line, we have dolce indicated. Be sure you come back enough with your mezzo forte. And even softer here. And crescendo up to forte again. And then the third line, we have this indication to play fortissimo brassy. And I think the best way to practice this kind of sound is using long tones. So on a third space C, I'd encourage you to practice playing with a sound that's 75% core, 25% halo. So you want to hear a little bit of a brassy edge halo on top of that really solid, beautiful core sound. And again, practice long tones in order to find that sound. And you want to avoid playing with a sound that's too ugly. You still want it to have some strength to it, but have it still be tastefully fortissimo with a brassy edge. And be sure that's brassy all the way to the low D. So practice long tones not only on third space C, but also in the lower register as well, crescendoing and diminuendoing to brassy and away from brassy, and then and playing, sustaining those notes brassy, so you can find that sound. Again, practicing this slowly and legato, really finding that brassy sound will help you when you need to play it faster. Okay, and then the fourth line, we have the scale. This is right out of G minor, so I'd encourage you to practice your G minor scale so you have that fingering pattern. Practice G melodic minor so that this is just a part of your fingering habits. So practice a lot of G minor scales. That will help you, and practice getting those faster gradually over time. At the end of the fourth line, we have fortissimo, and we have the return of the opening material. But this time it's fortissimo. So be even stronger in this material, stronger than you were at the opening. Then we have this chromatic line in the fifth line, pianissimo. This is the softest dynamic of the entire etude. And keep it pianissimo all the way to the F sharp. So avoid changing the dynamic at all. Very soft, softest that you can play. And then immediately contrasting in the sixth line, fortissimo. So fortissimo strong all the way to the resolution on the first note in the seventh line. In the very last line of this etude, I'd recommend that you use alternate fingerings and play mostly on the B flat side there, especially your D's at the bottom of the staff. And that's a good place for us to stop. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I wish you the very best as you audition for the All-State program this year.